Morning, everybody. We're here at my work in the greenhouse, and we are going to pot up some. I think what do I have today? I've got some lantana and some zinnias and some celosia. So I'm going to show you how we do it here, how I do it, and what we use, and the process of potting stuff up. We got these plants in last week. These will all be some of the annuals that'll go across the city in our annual beds and hanging baskets that we're going to have downtown. A bunch of different marigolds, some coleus, some verbena, a bunch of different. There's some, that's really cool, variegated vinca that'll trail out of the hanging baskets. Calibrachoa, a ton of different petunias. I think there's 10 different Calibrachoas and petunias, and it'll all be different random mixes. Some sweet potato vines and some thunbergia that'll kind of spill out. So some plugs of lantana. When we get the stuff in, they're going to be in these. Here's a full tray of plugs. And each one of these will be a little tiny lantana. And from here, we'll pot them up, grow them out until Mother's Day-ish, middle of May, and then they'll go out in some annual beds across the city. So let's get him out of the way. The soil that I use at work and at home, it's upside down, but Pro Mix. I love Pro Mix. I got into about 8 years ago when I worked for the city of Charlottesville. That's what they use. Started using it at home and have used it ever since and won't use anything else. This is a bale, and it'll run you $50, $55 depending on where you get it, and it will do a lot. For my stuff at home, usually for everything that I pot up, one, maybe 1.5 if I get really crazy with some seedlings. We'll do everything that I do at home. All of this stuff here, a little bit on that side, this was 5 bales. And these are all 5-inch. These are all pretty large 5-inch pots. And it's done all of these. And then some 3.5-inch pots down where the petunias are. So it goes a pretty long way. So when we get it, again, it's going to be in these big bales. I've got a potting table here that we built that makes it easier. There's a lot to use out of one. So what I like to do is I'll just take a knife and I will actually just cut the bale in half. Kind of hard to do with one hand. I really need a tripod, which I actually have ordered and will be here this week. So now that we've got it in half, let me pause this for a second. Ta-da! It's magic. So this was one of the halves of that big bale that I cut in half. So now all I'm going to do is I want to bust it all up, get all these chunks out of here. And you can see how dry it is. We can fix that in a minute. All right, so here's a before, right? Completely dry, no moisture at all. I squeeze it as hard as I want, nothing. Completely dry. So we're gonna take our hose and we're gonna wet the hell out of it. I want it moist. That's Amy's favorite word. I want it moist enough that I can keep it together but I don't want it completely waterlogged. So I'll run my hose here for a little bit. Soak it pretty good. It might seem like I'm really throwing a lot of water on it, and I guess I kind of am, but as super dry as it was, you'll see here in a second, it's not waterlogged. So let me mix this all up for a minute and I'll be back. And we're back. So I mixed it up. I needed to add a little bit more water. I did that, and this is what we've got, right? What I'm looking for is I can squeeze it. No water, you know, I'm squeezing as hard as I can. No water's coming out, but it'll hold together. Just enough moisture that it holds together. But again, I'm not wringing it out. It's not sopping, soaking wet. I don't want it soaking wet. This is exactly what we're looking for. It takes a little bit of time, a little bit of practice. But if you go a little bit at a time, it's kind of hard to over saturate it. And if you do, it's not a huge deal. I just don't like it super saturated. This is what I'm looking for. So let me go get some pots and we'll be back again. All right, so I potted a few up. Again, these are 5-inch pots. Pretty nice size. Don't really think I need to show you how to put dirt in a pot. It's pretty self-explanatory. You take the soil, it's not dirt, soil, and you stick it in there. And then I'll just take one, kind of tamp it down. I don't want to smash it down and make it hard, but I do want to get all the air pockets out of here. Boom, done. Then we'll take our plugs. Come in these flats. This one is, I think Irene is the variety of lantana. Nice little plug. They come in these little Jiffy, or these little peat plugs. It's just a rooted cutting is all it is. And then I'll just kind of tease the roots a little bit. Make a hole in my pot. Done. Again, it's not really, you just want to be careful when you're pulling them out, not to yank on them and snap the top off. Most of them come out pretty easily. Some of them sometimes, if they have a really good root system on them, are a little tougher to come out. Another thing to pay attention to when you're planting is don't plant them too deep. Don't bury them in there. Just cover them up, tamp it down, done. Hole, plug, done. Tease the roots, hole, plug, done. Not super complicated. These pots, I'm not going to say are overkill. They're oversized for the size of these plugs right now. But we're not putting these, excuse me, we're not putting these plugs out until, again, the middle of May. So rather than put them in a smaller pot or a like an 804 or a small cell pack and then have to transplant them at least one more time, if I can put them in these bigger ones, that saves us from having time. And you're not moving them around as much. I've got 2 left over. Rather than just have 2, we'll just stick one here. And how about one right there? Done. I've already got a tag made up. I'll just put one since all of these are going to be together. If it was a mixed tray, obviously I would label them differently, but one, it's going to go over here next to the other tray of them. And then that's it. We've got some zinnias, some more lantana, 2 more of lantana, and some celosia to do. So this is where I'll be the rest of the day. And then once we're done with that, we've got our cannas that we dug up from last year that we'll have to trim up. And we'll pot these cannas up as well. So by the end of the week, if not definitely the beginning part of next week, this greenhouse will be completely full. But that's how we do the plugs, and that's all I got. Thanks.